Good morning. I'm Stephanie Bullock and this is Gillian Kosloff. I'm representing Mount Alexander College, which is also known as MAC. We would firstly like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the lands upon which we are meeting, and also where the project is located, the Wurundjeri people of the Victorian Nation. And we recognise the unique place held by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the original custodians of the lands and waterways across the Australian continent, with histories of continuous connection dating back more than 60,000 years, and we pay respect to their elders past, present and emerging.
So this project grapples with three fundamental questions. So the first one is that in a time of limited resources, what's our responsibility as architects in designing a new building? Secondly, how can a building truly support the aspirations of those who inhabit it now and well into the future? And finally, how can a contemporary building respond to its context and enrich its community?
So this is a new 5-storey building on an extremely constrained site in the inner city suburb of Flemington. Designed in conjunction with the Victorian School Building Authority and the Mount Alexander College community, it was delivered for just over $3,700 per square metre. It serves a diverse and multicultural community, 20% of whom live in social, public or community housing. Over the last 10 years, Mount Alexander has been transformed from a failing school into one of the fastest growing secondary schools in Melbourne, and the new building was desperately needed to support a projected enrolment of 900 by 2025. The original master plan that we developed for the site showed 2 separate buildings in line with the brief that the project needed to be delivered in 2 separately funded stages to be constructed at different times. When funding was provided to deliver both stages simultaneously, we took the opportunity to revisit the original master plan, and instead we proposed a single 5-storey building with a rooftop play space that would deliver significantly more usable outdoor space than the original site had, and also the original master plan proposal.
So the quality and the aspiration of the existing city buildings within the surrounding suburb or suburban context provided cues as to how a beautifully articulated facade could generate a sense of pride and generosity. The permanency of these buildings reaffirmed for us the decision to commit to masonry, albeit precast concrete. Next to our building is a red brick heritage listed substation, which is of historic and architectural significance, as it's a typical remnant of the infrastructure built as part of the electrification of the northwestern suburbs. And yes, I guess we joke with the client, perhaps we should just scale this building up and be done with it. And in many ways, maybe we did, but the budget and site constraints did not allow the formal gymnastics. And so our focus was on the articulation of the facades, which are formed of precast concrete panels with a red oxide.
The intensity of the red facade continues internally through the circulation, amenities and breakout core of the building, which are all located centrally and to the south. Teaching and learning spaces are arranged primarily to the northern perimeter to gain the best solar aspect. Extensive consultation with the school community, including students, staff and parents, suggested to us that given their level of high aspiration, the interior should feel more like a tertiary institution than a secondary school. An educational building that would offer multiple ways of occupation and learning, underpinned by a palette more sophisticated than their existing facilities.
So as well as maximising outdoor space, key campus strategies included a greater permeability and accessibility across the campus from Wellington Street to the left of that page, an activated ground floor with the introduction of an amphitheatre at the campus heart and externalised teaching and learning spaces, and the introduction of a campus plaza served by the externalised stair to the south of the building.
Utilising the height differential between the new proposed school entry on Wellington Street allows for at-grade entry, whilst also allowing for significant connection to the landscape on the ground floor. The elevated nature of the site within Flemington also offered the potential to create a strong visual connection, not just to the surrounding suburban context, but also to the city beyond.
Each of the floor plates is defined by a centralised circulation spine, with teaching and learning spaces arranged to enjoy maximum northern light. With amenities and stairs located to the south, the building's long axis is almost perfectly aligned to true north. The ground floor opens directly onto the campus and offers a performing arts hub opening to an amphitheatre and a student canteen. The first floor is level with Wellington Street and includes a reception and staff work areas as well as flexible teaching and learning spaces. 2 floors above offer teaching and learning spaces that can be adapted to respond to an ever-evolving curriculum. And the rooftop offers additional play space and more than exceeds the footprint of the building itself. Part of the regeneration and growth of MAC in recent years has been driven by a shift to student-led curriculum, which is not restricted by year level and changes based on student demand each year. This required an approach to planning that could support a continually evolving range of subjects and class sizes, which also opened up for us a much larger question as to the ability of the building to continue to evolve for decades to come. In our view, a fundamental requirement for a new building if it's to be considered truly sustainable.
Our practice has completed many projects which involved the refurbishment of buildings constructed 100 years or more ago. And whilst we were keen to support the immediate needs of the school, the ethics of demolishing an existing structure to make way for a new one was something we thought needed to be considered. The existing building that was demolished was of very poor quality and could not provide the area required by the school, so retaining it was not an option. Whatever we built needed to be good enough to be retained and adapted well into the future. This was never just a new building for us, it's also a future adaptive reuse project, although almost certainly by architects other than us. MAC seeks to serve the immediate aspiration of its school community, which is incredibly high, without closing off future possibilities, including that it might not always be a school.
The structure allows for infinite reconfiguration internally with a facade that regulates light while allowing for partitions to be created throughout, a continually varying window arrangement. Designing the floor plates and structure of MAC to support an evolving range of subjects and approaches to pedagogy has led us to believe that it can evolve for much longer than the required 50-year lifespan of the building, well into multiple futures. The suburban context in MAC called for a considered approach to the facade that both assists to minimise the perceived scale of the 5-storey building, but also deal effectively with shading to 3 sides. The southern side is almost completely blank, with only one window. Precast concrete was selected due to its longevity, and the cost constraints meant that we needed to use just 7 different moulds that are deployed and rotated across the facade to provide optimum shading.
In early discussions with the client, we spoke about the rationale and simplicity of a car park as a precedent. Whilst we certainly would not hope for it to be used as a car park in the future, we can envisage it become a different type of educational facility altogether, or even apartments, or something we can't even conceive of. The simplicity of the grid and rationality of the circulation leaves space for multiple possibilities. The building aims to support not only the immediate aspirations of its students, it encourages everyone within it to continually lift their gaze to the wider world outside, and in doing so consider what the trajectory might be. This is what we mean by supporting the aspirations of the school community. We believe this connection to the broader context will remain not just relevant but essential, regardless of who those future inhabitants are, hopefully for decades to come, whatever uses this building may contain in the future.